On Tuesday, July the 23rd, the mayor of Moscow announced a new incentive for those willing to join the fight in Ukraine. Anyone who signs up for at least a year will receive a bonus of 1.9 million rubles, which is about $22,000. This amount is nearly twice the average yearly salary in Ukraine, making it a significant offer, especially for those with no prior military experience. This move highlights Russia's urgent need for more soldiers. In addition to the signing bonus, new recruits will be paid a salary of 3.3 million rubles, bringing their total earnings to approximately $60,000 in the first year alone. Soldiers will also receive a compensation for injuries, ranging from $5,600 to $11,400 based on severity, and families of those killed in action will get just over $34,000. These generous offers reflect the heavy losses Russia has faced in the conflict, which estimates suggest they've lost around 90% of their ground troops since the war began. A declassified U.S. intelligence report presented to Congress revealed that Russia has suffered enormous losses in its invasion of Ukraine. The report estimates that Russia has lost 87% of its active-duty ground troops that were in place before the invasion, as well as two-thirds of its tanks. Specifically, out of 360,000 troops, Russia has seen 315,000 casualties and lost 2,200 out of 3,500 tanks, along with 4,400 of 13,600 infantry fighting vehicles and armored personnel carriers. UK Defense Intelligence highlights that in May and June 2024 alone, daily Russian casualties, both killed and wounded, peaked at 1,262 in May and 1,163 in June, totaling over 70,000 personal losses in those 2 months. This increase in casualties came as Russia opened a new front in the Kharkiv region while continuing the same level of attacks elsewhere. However, a strong Ukrainian defense and inadequate Russian training have hindered Russia's ability to gain any tactical advantage, despite stretching their forces further. UK intelligence also predicts that Russia's casualty rate will likely stay above 1,000 men per day for the next 2 months as Russia intensifies efforts to overpower Ukrainian positions. This indicates that Russia is doubling down on its efforts to push back Ukrainian forces, but it's coming at a steep price, losing over 1,000 soldiers daily. Consequently, Russia is now heavily recruiting, offering a large financial incentive to encourage more people to join the battle. Over the past 5 years, average monthly wages in Russia have consistently risen. 5 years ago, the average salary was around 48,000 rubles per month. The latest figure shows that this has increased to 84,000 rubles, which translates to around $930 per month or approximately $11,200 annually. To put this in a perspective, the current recruitment offer from the mayor of Moscow is exceptionally high. In the first year, recruits can earn $59,600, nearly 5.5 times the average Russian salary. The initial signing bonus alone is $22,000, almost equivalent to 2 years' worth of average earnings. Even without the bonus, the salary of $37,600 is more than triple the average wage, making it a very tempting offer. However, it's important to consider the risks. Not everyone who goes to fight in Ukraine returns alive. So the question arises, is the potential to earn significantly above the average wage worth the risk of potentially losing your life after a very short time? For many, the answer might be no. Considering the severe casualty levels and the financial burden of the war in Ukraine on Russia, it's not surprising that Russia hasn't released any official figures regarding the number of troops injured or killed. However, several estimates provide a grim picture. The U.S. believes that up to the end of 2023, 315,000 Russians were killed or wounded. France estimates 150,000 killed, and the UK suggests a total of 465,000 Russians that have been either killed or wounded. Economically, the toll is staggering. Russia offers compensation of just over $34,000 for soldiers killed in action and up to $11,400 for injuries. Using these figures, compensations for the 150,000 reported fatalities would amount to around $5 billion and another $3.5 billion for the 315,000 injuries, totaling $8.5 billion in compensation costs. The situation has worsened recently, with daily losses estimated at around 1,100 people. Annually, this rate could lead to compensation costs for about $5 billion more, but the economic impact goes beyond compensation payments. The loss of these individuals also means a loss of potential economic contributors. Those who die or are severely injured can no longer work, pay taxes, or contribute to social security systems, turning them from potential economic assets into state liabilities. This not only increases direct costs through compensations, but also reduces the economic productivity and tax base, further straining Russia's economy. It's estimated that the average age of soldiers being killed in Ukraine is 34. With the retirement age in Russia set at 63 for men, these individuals are missing out on 29 years of potential contributions to the state. If you apply the average salary of $11,200 to these 29 years, it means that each of these individuals could have contributed about $325,000 over what could have been the remaining working life. When this figure is applied to the estimated 465,000 people who have been injured or killed in Ukraine so far, the total lost contributions to the Russian economy amounts to approximately $151 billion. This isn't just an immediate cost, it represents the long-term economic impact on Russia. The ongoing conflict is creating a significant problem for Russia. The loss of so many people means a reduced workforce capable of producing goods and adding value to the economy. This reduction in productive capacity puts additional pressure on Russia's economic future, potentially leading to long-term shrinkage and financial strain. Let's take a look at what's happening with employment in Russia. The number of employed people reached a peak of 74.2 million in both August and December of 2023. However, in 2024, there has been a decline in these figures. They fell to 73.8 million in January, 73.6 million in February, 73.4 million in March, and then slightly rebounded to 73.7 million in April. Interestingly, Russia hasn't released any employment figures for May or June. This period coincides with UK intelligence reports that Russia was losing more than 1,100 men per day on the Ukrainian frontline. If we look at unemployment in Russia, we see that from the beginning of 2022 to now, the total number of unemployed people in Russia has decreased from 3.5 million to 2 million. While it might seem positive that unemployment has dropped by 1.3 million, suggesting more people are entering the workforce and becoming productive, it also indicates a significant struggle in Russia to find enough employees to fill all job vacancies. During the same period, the unemployment rate dropped from 4.4% in January 2022 to 2.6% currently. Comparatively, in the US, the unemployment rate was 4% in January 2022 and has slightly risen to 4.1% today, with the US economy considered very healthy and thriving. This contrast shows us the different economic dynamics at play in Russia and the US. So, the Moscow mayor's move of offering a huge signing bonus of $22,000 tells us a lot. This kind of bonus is usually seen in sports, not the military, which shows how desperate Russia is to get more people on the front lines. First, it shows that Russia is struggling to find enough soldiers, as their losses have been heavy, with reports indicating over 1,100 casualties daily. This high casualty rate means they need to keep recruiting quickly to fill those gaps. Another takeaway is that people aren't exactly eager to sign up. Offering big money up front suggests that the interest in joining the fight is low and people are weighing the risks. No matter how much money was offered, the risk of being injured or killed is just too high. Moreover, the war has caused significant damage beyond the battlefield. Russia's compensation costs for injured soldiers and families of the deceased are around $10 billion. But the bigger problem is the impact on the economy. Russia has seen a population decline due to low birth rate and high death rate worsened by the war. Over 1.2 million people have fled the country, and about 465,000 have been killed or wounded in the conflict. The loss of these people, especially many who are highly skilled, is a blow to Russia's workforce, making it harder for the economy to grow. This problem is compounded by the fact that many Russian companies have been forced to produce war materials instead of their usual products, disconnecting them from international markets. The situation in Russia, due to the ongoing war in Ukraine, is pretty disturbing. The human and economic costs are enormous, impacting the country's long-term prospects severely. Thanks for tuning in, and if you found this discussion helpful, please like the video and subscribe to Economy Obsession for more updates.